What's up, guys? It's Greg Helbeck here, and right now I am outside of a property that I wholesaled last week over here on Holly Street in West Seattle, actually about 5 minutes from where I live. This is this week's REI deal breakdown. So I'm actually at the site right now. Been here a few times, so this wasn't a complete virtual wholesale. So I'm going to tell you in this video how I found the house, how the deal went down, and some lessons that you can learn. So hopefully you can repeat this in your business. So first things first, this house. I found it through a direct mail campaign. I believe the list was a long owner, unknown equity list, which basically means that they've owned the house for a while and they own it free and clear, which was exactly the case here. Trustee called me and he said that he wanted to sell his mom's property and he wanted to preferably sell it off market. He was considering a bunch of options, so he was going to list it. He was considering that. He had a bunch of competitors here, so I was not the only guy he was talking to. It's in a really expensive area, as you can see around here. There's developments all over the place. There's townhouses there, townhouses here. So a lot of people here in Seattle are buying properties and they're just redeveloping them because look, like this is a small house here. Pretty sure the buyer I sold it to is going to knock it down. So anyway, he knew what he had on his hands. I didn't think originally it was going to be a deal because I was kind of like 5 or 6 competitors he's talking to. He's talking to an agent. Selling it at a wholesale price might not be in the cards. So anyway, instead of ruling the lead out, I was like, let me go on the appointment. So I met him at this house. Super nice guy. It was actually a competitor at the house with me when I showed up for the first time, which was kind of awkward, but I was cool about it. He wasn't making any decisions quickly. He wasn't signing a contract on the spot. I told him after the appointment, I said, let me run some numbers. Let me get back to you. I went home. I figured what this house was worth as a, development deal. I reached out to some people, did some numbers as a flip, but it needs a lot of work. So it really wouldn't be a good option for that. His price he was asking originally was like, wasn't really going to work. So long story short, I thought he was going to list the house, and it turns out at the last minute he was going to sell this to a competitor, but the competitor had like a really long closing. They wanted to close in like December, and he didn't want to wait. So I was like back in the picture with my offer because I told him we can close this thing pretty quickly. So I ended up telling him that I wanted to just wholesale the house. So I was like, listen, like I don't really want to buy this. I actually want to wholesale this. What I would do is I would agree to pay you a certain price. I would go out and I'd try to find a buyer. And if I can find somebody to pay me more than I'm paying you, I'd make the difference. Pretty simple. People are pretty shocked when I say that a lot because they're like, why would you tell a seller you're wholesaling the house? Well, number one, in this case, I didn't want to close on it because it was like a development deal. I don't really do that. So I figured if you tell the seller the truth, it can't hurt you. So he was like, you know what? That's not a bad option. I'm going to consider that. I gave him a number. He was like, I think that will probably work, but let me have the weekend to think it over. So I was like, okay, no problem. While he was thinking it over, he ended up getting an offer from somebody else over the weekend. He was like, hey, what I'm going to do is I'm going to basically, do a highest and best. And the best and final offer is going to be due like Wednesday or Thursday. So basically all week long, I was making him offers and seeing where the other guy was and ended up bidding the property way up to like, I think $70,000 more than he was going to sign at. I ended up winning the property. I put it out to the wholesale list and the person I was competing with, he wanted to buy it from me. So we were going to do that. That didn't work out. So then someone else wanted to buy the property. Turns out at the original price, they couldn't do it because this house is in a certain zone where there's a little bit more red tape to develop in. So you have to pay an extra fee to develop. So what ended up happening was I thought the deal was dead and I actually canceled my contract, which the seller knew about. I ended up getting my earnest money back. I didn't think anything of it. What I told the seller, if I can't get this done for you, I will put you in touch with the best buyer I think is fit to buy this house. And I'm not going to ask for anything. So I put the developer in touch with the seller and they ended up doing the deal. And I ended up getting paid my wholesale fee out of escrow, just like an assignment, like I was going to do originally. So like literally a week and a half ago, I got a call from the buyer who was a developer. She actually lives like, 2 minutes from where I live. And she was like, hey, what's your wire information? I want to pay you the wholesale fee. And I was like, what? What are you talking about? I didn't really expect anything. She was like, no, escrow is going to pay you just like a regular assignment. You were the one who brought this deal to me. So turns out I made the same wholesale fee, literally right there. And I couldn't believe it because honestly, I did not expect to make $1 on this property. So what are some lessons you can learn from this that hopefully serve you in your real estate business? Well, lesson number one, when you do the right thing and you keep your word and you're transparent with people, it always comes back to you. Because I was upfront with the seller and told him I wanted to wholesale it, and I told him worst case scenario, if I can't find a buyer, I will literally put you in touch with the best buyer I think is possible. I said, no matter what, you're going to land on your feet. And he appreciated that. But when you do the right thing, it usually comes back and rewards you. Lesson number two, the person I was competing with, he originally was going to buy this and I gave him my word I would sell it to him off the bat. And that didn't end up working out because, like I said, there was a development issue. But because of that, I told the person who ended up buying the house, I said, listen, I already gave someone my word that I was going to sell them the house. They have the first crack at this because I don't want to go back on what I said. And that second buyer actually really respected that. They really appreciated the value that I brought into the transaction, because if it wasn't for me, they would have never known this house was up for grabs, because I was the one who tried to wholesale it. So basically, do the right thing, keep your word. It's a small town, even though we're in a big city. This is the deal breakdown right here, Holly Street, West Seattle. So if you got a house, you're in Seattle, or you're in the Hudson Valley, or you're in Delaware or San Diego, and you have a house you want to wholesale me or wholesale with me, like this one, send me an email, greg@velocityhousebuyers, or message me on Instagram @grego37, and I'll see you on the next REI deal breakdown. Take care.